This video will show you how to replace your driver's side inner fender liner on this Toyota Corolla. This will be located inside of your front fender. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we have to do is safely raise and support the front of the vehicle so the front wheel's off the ground. After you've done that, we're going to remove all 5 of our 21mm lug nuts and then the wheel. Now we're under the front corner of the bumper cover. We're going to start dislodging the forward portion of our fender liner. You're going to find that you have 2 10mm bolts. There's one in the front here. One making our way along the bumper cover. Now from that bolt, as you make your way inboard, you're going to find a plastic push clip. Remove the center to unlock it, and then remove the outer portion. For this, I'm using a trim tool. You can also use a flat blade screwdriver if necessary. Now we should be able to take hold of this. We're going to flex the bumper cover and pull this out of the way. You're going to find that you have a 10mm bolt down low. Let's remove that. Now that we have that bolt out of there, let's continue upward. We do not need to remove this push clip, but there are several other push clips that you're going to find making their way all the way around that we will have to remove. Push clips can come in all different shapes and sizes, especially if they've been previously replaced. So with that said, let's start along the forward side here. We have a push clip. For these push clips, generally you just go ahead and remove the center, hold them out of place. As you make your way up towards the center, there's going to be 2 push clips here, but we're going to save those for last. Let's continue rearward. Now we have a push clip right here. This one's a little different. We don't have a center to remove, so I'm just using my trim tool. As we move down, we're going to find that we have different plastic clips to remove. To remove these, I'm using my trim tool. I'm applying light pressure. You can't pry it out yet. They actually have 2 locking tabs. For this, I'm using an angled pick. We have to try to get underneath this area. I'm feeling around on the inside for those locking tabs. Pull them towards the center. As I pull it towards the center, I'm also applying a little bit of pressure here, pulling it out and away. You can see it's starting to dislodge. Once you have one side starting to dislodge, usually you can just use your pick on the opposite side and press in on the opposite locking tab. Now that I have that out, I'll show you exactly what the locking tab looks like. There's one there, and there's one on the opposite side. Now we'll repeat this process for the next 3. There's one over here, one below the one we had removed, and then there's a third just down underneath this area. Light pressure, use our pick, find the tabs. Let's get this in here. The last one's just under here, same exact process. Light pressure, use your pick. Can pull that out of there. Up to the top. Up here we have 2 plastic push clips. Let's start removing the center with our trim tool. Pull it out of place. Last one. Continuing on, we should be able to take hold of the fender liner, we'll give it a wiggle, and remove it from the vehicle. There it is, friend. With the inside fender liner out of place, a common area to have debris would be along the back side, tucked in and behind the fender. Of course, we're going to remove this prior to the installation of the brand new fender liner. Obviously, you want to be careful for anything that could be in here that could potentially hurt you. I'm just going to use something as a scraper and pull it out of place. On the original front fender liner, along the bottom, we have to remove this air diverter. You're going to find that there's 3 10mm headed mounting bolts. Let's remove each of those 3 and the air diverter. And take hold of that, slide it out of place, set that aside. Now we're looking at the brand new inside fender liner. Down along the bottom forward side is where we're going to be installing our air diverter. Of course, we want to make sure we have it in the proper orientation. If you were looking along the underside of this, you're going to find 3 bolt ports and 1 alignment tab. We need to make sure the alignment tab aligns with the port on the fender liner itself. Just go ahead and line it up, press it in. Once you do have that pressed in, we're aligning each of our 3 mounting bolt ports next. For those, start them in. Once they're all started in, you can snug them up. They're started in, let's snug them up. Now we can get this in the vehicle. Now we can get the fender liner in position. We're going to bring it in towards the fender, and we'll start with the center 2 push clips. This is going to hold things in place as we continue on with all the rest of our hardware. For those push clips, we're going to take it and come through the fender liner itself, through the fender, and then go ahead and drive in the center, locking it into the proper positioning. Just going to roll that piece up and inside there. We'll continue on. We've got our next one right over here. Same process, push clip through the fender liner, line it up with the fender, lock it down. Let's get our next couple push clips in here. Let's get our next one in. Let's get the next one here. Down here. Down along the bottom corner here, we're going to flex this so we can align it with its mounting point. I'm replacing my push clip. Press that up and in, lock it in with the center. As we make our way along the front of the fender liner, let's quickly pay attention to our bumper cover. We're going to remove this adapter. Just go ahead and take hold of it. It should slide out of position. Now we'll slide it onto our fender liner. Line it up with the hole, press it on there as far as possible. We'll start getting this in position next. We're going to tuck it in behind the bumper cover, slide the clip onto the bumper cover, and then install our 10mm headed mounting bolt, holding this together. Let's get this in here. Let's get this lined up, press it in. Now we'll make our way up into this corner here with another push clip. Line it up, lock it down. Let's get the front portion of the inside fender liner in place. We're going to tuck it in and behind the front bumper cover. You'll find that you have 2 ports for a 10mm headed bolt. There's one in the corner here. We'll have another one in the forward corner. And then our last piece of hardware for this is a push clip in the inboard corner. Let's get our wheel in place. Now at this point, we're going to start on all 5 of our 21mm lug nuts. We'll bottom them out, get the wheel safely on the ground, and we can torque these to 76 foot-pounds. With the wheel back on the ground, let's torque each one of our 21mm lug nuts to 76 foot-pounds. Torqued. Okay friend, we finished the installation of our inside fender liner. The next thing we want to do is take our vehicle for a road test and listen for any odd noises. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.